The Express Configuration Wizard simplifies the task of creating and configuring a new company database. At the end of this topic, you will be able to create a new SAP Business One company, and configure key settings in a company by following an easy-to-use wizard. Let us look at a business example. You are configuring a new customer database and want to make sure that you configure key settings in the correct order. In addition, the customer has asked for an audit log of all configuration settings. Solution: the Express Wizard provides a structured, systematic way to create and/or configure a new company. In addition, an audit report is automatically saved of any settings or configuration changes made in the wizard. Links are available on Partner Edge for authorized partners to download the SAP Business One software. For step-by-step installation instructions, reference the Administrator's Guide. During the installation, you set the site user, B1 site user, password. The site user password is required for various system-level tasks such as creating new companies, upgrading to a new release or patch level, accessing the System Landscape Directory, SLD, creating a database user with read-only privileges for reports and queries. Note: the site user password can only subsequently be changed in the System Landscape Directory, SLD. You can run the newly installed SAP Business One product version for 31 days without a license. To continue working with the application after 31 days, you must install a valid license key assigned by SAP. The System Landscape Directory, SLD, is the central workplace for performing various administrative and security tasks. It is accessible from a web browser using the URL shown above. Use the SLD to manage companies on the database servers. Companies added here will show on the user's login screen. Manage authentication for database users. Enable single sign-on functionality. Manage encryption keys used to encrypt data in SAP Business One. Change the site user password. Change the database user used to connect to the database server. On the Services tab of the SLD, you can manage various services including the license service, the mail and alerts services, the browser access service. To create a new company, choose Administration and choose Company. In the Choose Company window, select the icon to the right of the New button to see the drop-down entries. Choose New to create a new company. After you create the company, you can use the configuration windows under the Administration menu to configure it. Choose New using Wizard to create the company database and configure the company using the wizard. The wizard makes it possible for a partner organization to adopt a uniform approach to configuration with consultants following a recommended sequence for configuration. In both cases, you will be prompted to enter the site user password to proceed. Let us create a new company with Express Configuration Wizard. The wizard first takes you to the standard company creation screen where you enter the initial details for the new company. If this is a new SAP Business One installation, you can select the trial version checkbox. After the 31-day window expires, you must install the license key. If a license is already installed, the new company must be for the same localization. Name and database name. The name appears in the company details screen. Option to copy the user-defined fields, tables, and objects from the current company to the new company. This can be useful when there is a need to create an additional company for the customer's business or to create a test database. Local settings. When you select the localization settings, this activates local tables and functionality for the new company. You cannot change the localization after the company is created. Chart of accounts. The chart of accounts templates you see depend on the local settings. If you choose the template option, a default chart of accounts will be created automatically based on the localization, and you can edit these accounts as desired. Alternatively, you can choose the option user-defined. Only the top-level drawers are provided in a user-defined chart of accounts, allowing you to manually add accounts to the drawers. Note: you cannot change the chart of accounts after there are posted transactions. Base language. The initial display language for the UI. This can be changed later. To complete the initial settings, choose the Browse button to define the posting periods. This is a mandatory step. You should define the posting periods for the earliest fiscal year that will be required in the new company for reporting. After the company is created, you can define posting periods for subsequent fiscal years, but you cannot define posting periods for an earlier year. For due dates, SAP recommends that you define a range that is broader than the posting date range of the particular period. This lets you accommodate payment terms that calculate a due date beyond the current system date. Due dates of posting periods can be changed later. For example, if the due date range does not allow a transaction with a certain payment term, this can be adjusted. You cannot create overlapping periods. After creating periods, you can adjust the date range and the beginning of the fiscal year according to your needs. The fiscal year does not have to be the same as the calendar year, however, the beginning of the fiscal year must be the first day of the month. In this case, you need to change the date range of the periods of that fiscal year. Do so by starting from the last period and working backwards, to avoid a situation whereby the periods overlap. After you define the posting periods, the wizard creates the tables for the new company. The manager user account is created by default. You supply a password for this user, and you use these credentials to log into the company for the first time. Let us configure a company using the wizard. To prepare SAP Business One for use at a company, you configure various settings, such as accounting, inventory, business partners, users, sales, and purchasing. Due to data dependencies, there is a suggested order for the configuration and setup for a new company. For example, you should configure the accounting settings first. The individual configuration screens are mostly located under the Administration then System Initialization and Administration then Setup menus. Instead of using the individual configuration screens, it is often easier to use the Express Configuration Wizard. You can use the wizard to make configuration changes in the new company as well as in an existing company. To access the wizard, open the Implementation Center and choose Configure Company Settings. To use the tasks in the Implementation Center, the General Authorization Administration System Initialization Implementation Tasks is required. The wizard guides you through the configuration process steps for configuring the company setup for each area. Company details, accounting, banking, business partners, inventory, stock, sales and purchasing, users. The benefit of using the wizard is that configuration screens are grouped together in recommended order for each module or area: accounting, banking, business partners, inventory, stock, sales and purchasing, and users. An example is shown here of the accounting configuration screens. There are several screens for accounting. The wizard also highlights in advance any settings that cannot be changed after transactions have been posted for the company. These settings have a red exclamation mark. When a setting becomes irreversible, it is grayed out in the wizard and cannot be changed. The slide shows a summary of the wizard steps and the equivalent company configuration screens. When you run the wizard for a new company, a baseline configuration report is created. This can be handed to the customer as documentation. Each possible setting is shown with the configured or default value. Another advantage of using the wizard for configuration is that a report is saved each time the wizard is run, providing an audit trail of changes made. You can access the saved configuration reports at any time by choosing Configuration Management from the Implementation Center menu. You can select a saved report and compare it to the current configuration. Since configuration changes made outside the wizard are not tracked, you can run this comparison to check if configuration changes have been made directly from the administration menus, and not using the Express Wizard. You can also select multiple reports and compare them. This allows you to see changes made at different stages of the implementation or over time. You also have the ability to save a snapshot of the current configuration at any time, from the General tab of the Configuration Management screen. These are the key points from this topic. You have two options for creating a new company: choose new or choose new using Wizard. The latter option saves time and removes the need to navigate the individual configuration screens. This makes it possible for a partner organization to adopt a uniform approach to configuration. The Wizard guides you through the correct order for configuration. The Wizard brings together the configuration settings found under the Administration then System Initialization and Administration then Setup menus, plus other menus relevant for accounting, banking, business partners, inventory, sales, and purchasing, and users. The Wizard automatically groups related configuration screens. Importantly, the Wizard alerts you to irreversible settings, which are marked with a red exclamation mark. You can also run the Express Configuration Wizard to configure an existing company. After you run the Wizard for the first time, the system saves a baseline configuration report. Each time you use the Wizard to make additional configuration changes, a new report is created and you can compare the changes in the reports using the configuration management function. The site user password is set during installation and required to create a new company. The site user password is managed in the System Landscape directory. You can run the newly installed SAP Business One product version for 31 days without a license and create company databases using the trial version.